Hey, eighth graders. So today we're going to be writing our first constructive response of eighth grade, which is really exciting, but it also means that we need to review some of our strategies that we've learned in the past. Our writing prompt for today says write a 3 to 5 paragraph essay responding to the following. Consider how Rowdy reacts to incidents in Revenge is My Middle Name. Write a response in which you analyze how Rowdy's thoughts and actions reveal aspects of his personality. Use details to support your analysis. So what I want to think about first is how do I break down this prompt and understand what I'm actually answering? And I think this first part, consider how Rowdy reacts to incidents, is really important. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. If you're on your paper, please underline that. What does it mean when it says reacts to incidents? We know that act means to do something and to react means to do it again. So we're kind of thinking about what does Rowdy do in response to things that are happening around him. We need to write our response that analyzes how Rowdy's thoughts and actions reveal aspects of his personality. That's the second thing that I'd like for you to underline on your paper. Get that little A. So I'm kind of thinking about what does that mean? I know that in the past, analyze means identify and explain. So I want to identify and explain how what Rowdy thinks and what Rowdy does reveal aspects of his personality or show me parts of who he is. We all know what a personality is, and I think we all know what Rowdy's personality is at this point. But I just want to be focusing on how does his thoughts, what he thinks, and what he does show me those parts of who he is. So when I'm breaking down my prompt, and you can go ahead and copy this onto your own prompt breakdown, I'm thinking about what questions to answer. So first, I want to think about what incidents involve Rowdy in chapter 3, which is called Revenge is My Middle Name. And when we say incidents, we basically mean events, things that happen, things that are usually kind of big or important and essential to our understanding of the chapter. Then I want to think about what does Rowdy think about these incidents or events? What does he think about them? What is his inner thoughts saying? And I know that our point of view is Junior, but we still get some understandings about Rowdy's thoughts through Junior's narration. And then, what does Rowdy do in response to these incidents? So what are his actual actions that he takes? And I'm actually going to add one more. What does this show about his personality? So the way he is, what does that show us about his personality, about who Rowdy is? Push that indent. Oops. Sorry about that. All right, so what I have here is an excerpt from chapter 3. So we've read all of chapter 3, but at this point, I want us to take a look at this specific part of the text. As I read, I want you to be underlining anywhere where you see how Rowdy is responding to incidents in the text. What is he thinking about these incidents? What is he doing in response? I'm going to pause and give you one of my think alouds as I read, but that does not mean that that's the only thing that should be underlined on your paper. You can be totally looking for a ton of other ways that Rowdy's responding to all of these different events. And I am always the most available loser. Come on, Rowdy said. I'll protect you. He knew that I was afraid of getting beat up, and he also knew that he'd probably have to fight for me. Rowdy has protected me since we were born. Both of us were pushed into the world on November 5th, 1992, at Sacred Heart Hospital in Spokane. I was born all broken and twisted, and he was born mad. He was always crying and screaming and kicking and punching. He bit his mother's breast when she tried to nurse him. He kept biting her, so she gave up and fed him formula. He really hasn't changed much since then. Well, at 14 years old, it's not like he runs around biting women's breasts, but he does punch and kick and spit. He got into his first fist fight in kindergarten. He took on 3 first graders during a snowball fight because one of them had thrown a piece of ice. Rowdy punched them out pretty quickly, and he punched the teacher who came to stop the fight. I'm going to pause there because that's what I want to focus on. I'm going to highlight this section right here. Because it's talking about a specific incident or event that Rowdy reacts to. It says that he got into his first fist fight in kindergarten. And that makes me think, okay, so his violence and his tendency to violence has been around since he was in kindergarten. It says he took on 3 first graders while he was in kindergarten, so I know he's pretty brave. But I think that the most important part is why he took them on. What was it that he was responding to? He was taking on these 3 first graders in a fight because one of them had thrown a piece of ice. So during a snowball fight, if you've ever been in one, that's like a really big no-no. When you throw ice, that becomes really dangerous. So I know that Rowdy's reacting to somebody doing something wrong. Now, the way that Rowdy reacts is by having more violence. So he is combating violence with violence. So I know that he might not have the best problem-solving skills, but at the heart of it and at the root of it, he's coming at these 3 first graders because they did something wrong. And that makes me think that maybe Rowdy's not such a bad guy after all. I'm going to finish reading the rest of this to you, but I'm not going to stop and do any more think-alouds. So any places that you want to underline, go ahead and do so. He didn't hurt the teacher. Not at all, but man, let me tell you, that teacher was angry. "What's wrong with you?" he yelled. "Everything," Rowdy yelled back. Rowdy fought everybody. He fought boys and girls, men and women. He fought stray dogs. Hell, he fought the weather. He'd throw wild punches at the rain, honestly. "Come on, you wuss," Rowdy said. "Let's go to the powwow. You can't hide in your house forever. You'll turn into some kind of troll or something." "What if somebody picks on me?" I asked. "Then I'll pick on them." "What if somebody picks my nose?" I asked. "Then I'll pick your nose too." Rowdy said. "You're my hero," I said. "Come to the powwow," Rowdy said, "please." It's a big deal when Rowdy is polite. So I want to remind us really quickly at the top what the prompt is that we're responding to. We're writing a 3 to 5 paragraph essay that responds to this. Consider how Rowdy reacts to incidents in Revenge is My Middle Name. Write a response in which you analyze how Rowdy's thoughts and actions reveal aspects of his personality. Use details to support your analysis. And we know, I didn't touch on this before, but details always means evidence. So when I go down to my writing checklist, this is just something that we've included to help you organize your thoughts. In your introduction paragraph, that's just a short 2 to 3 sentence paragraph, you need to include the author of the novel, which is Sherman Alexie, the title of the novel, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, as well as the title of the chapter, Revenge is My Middle Name. In the introduction, you're also going to restate the prompt so that it's really clear what you're writing about. Now, in paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, and 4 and 5, whatever you want, you can kind of organize them however you want. This is just suggested, but you need to make sure you restate the prompt. You answer the part about the prompt that talks about what incidents occur involving Rowdy. You give evidence to support it, and you explain how that evidence reveals aspects of his personality. Your second paragraph, you restate the prompt. Answer what thoughts Rowdy has during these incidents. Give that evidence again, and explain how that shows aspects of his personality. That's a really key part. And then finally, in paragraph 3, you restate the prompt. Answer what actions does Rowdy have during these incidents. Give evidence and explain how this evidence, once again, reveals aspects of his personality. So you can go ahead and get writing now. And you have plenty of space. If you need to brainstorm, just raise your hand. You can get some loose leaf. But we're at a voice level 0. Any questions is a raised hand. Good luck.